London 2017 Motor Show. Loads of great cars to have a look at today. So I thought maybe take you around to have a little look at them. Follow me. Ferrari GT Lusso. I think if you had enough money, this would be the family car. It's got a bit of a boot on the back, incredible wheels, awesome performance, and just look at it. I mean, what an incredible car. So that one will go on the shopping list, please. Over here we have one of the missing six. So in 1963, Jaguar commissioned 18 of these cars to be built and raced. They only built 12 of them, and they decided 50 years later that they were going to build the missing six. So that is not a restoration, that is a replica car built to the original specification from the 1960s. Apparently it's worth over £1 million, but famously, Lord March has said that these cars would not be welcome at Goodwood because they are a replica and have no racing heritage. It's a bit of a shame, but rules are rules, I guess. Morgan, one of the classic British marques, funky looking three-wheeler, but the other thing to consider with Morgans is they all have wooden frames. It's almost like they're built like boats rather than like cars. The one at the end is really ugly. It's got like bug eyes on it. So you could argue they've lost their way a little bit in terms of the cars that they're making nowadays. But each to their own, and I know they do have a core following, so they're obviously still doing something right. So, the Aston Martin stand at the London Motor Show 2017. Behind me we've got the frankly bonkers Aston Martin Valkyrie. Now this is a collaboration between Red Bull Racing and Aston Martin. So Red Bull Racing, the design guru Adrian Newey, who's been responsible for something like 20 world championships, has been a pet project of his to design and build a road car, and they've teamed up with Aston Martin to do such a thing, and just look at it. It's quite frankly remarkable, isn't it? Massive aero on it. I think if you look around the side of the car, there's basically nothing there. It's I think it's the craziest car I've ever seen. Truly remarkable, and we're going to talk to David to learn a little bit more about it. Right, David, if you wouldn't mind telling us something about this fantastic car, please.
Certainly. Well, this is the Aston Martin Valkyrie. It's going to be our new hypercar. It's designed in conjunction with Red Bull and Adrian Newey. So we've got a great partnership going on there at the moment for something that's going to be a wonderful, beautiful hypercar. You can see as it is at the moment, it's in its first design form.
When might we expect to see this sort of car on the road?
We're hoping that with development going as it is very strongly, we'd expect to see the car on the road by 2020. By 2020,
wow,
that's what we hope.
Right. And could you tell us what sort of performance figures you're aiming for with this sort of car?
At the moment we're really aiming to get one-on-one. So if we're looking at power to weight ratio, if we can get one-on-one, that's the aim. So perspective, we're looking at in a region of 1,050 brake horsepower.
Wow.
With possibly 800 Newton meters in that area. And that would mean that the weight will be the same. Mm-hmm. And the idea is to give that power to weight ratio, which will make it a very powerful car indeed.
So what do we know what the top speed of a car like this would
No,
be?
we don't. No. I mean, projections are, shall we say, very satisfactory, but we haven't got those figures in place as yet. Needless to say, we're going to be aiming to make the fastest hypercar out there. So this is what we will achieve with the help of everybody together. So, but we haven't got top speed figures or any 0 to 60 times at all. I can give you the stats that we've got at the moment, and that's what we're proposing and what we're aiming for.
So Aston Martin, one of the great British marques, Red Bull Racing, Adrian Newey in particular, hugely successful in the world of motorsport. Is this the marriage made in heaven?
I believe it is, yes. I believe it is. I'm sure Adrian has been trying to do something like this for a long time, and we're very proud to have the association.
Right, that's great. David, thank you very much for your time. Much appreciated.
Thank you for your time as well. Thank you very much. Okay.
Thanks, David.
Thanks. Bye.
So when I was growing up, my parents lived in the Middle East, and my father had a Range Rover, and they used to drive over the sand dunes at the weekend. So I have a bit of a soft spot for Range Rovers. Now, some people might suggest that cars like this are a little bit vulgar, but wow, look at that. Look at the size of these wheels. They come up past my kneecaps, how big they are. It's really rather large. Incredibly comfortable on the inside for 4 or 5 adults of my kind of height. I think this is, if you could have one car in your garage, is this a contender? I think it might be. So David Brown Automotive, I think it's a case of classic cars reimagined. I think this looks like it's loosely based on an Aston Martin DB5. We are hoping to have a chat with David a little bit later, so we'll come back to this one. In the meantime, apparently HR Rowan has picked up the dealership rights to now sell the back mono in the UK and Europe. So they might start selling a few more cars. Incredible performance on this thing. We were talking to Sam earlier. 0 to 60 in 2.8 seconds. It weighs a little over half a ton. I think it's nearly 600 kilos, but over 550 brake horsepower. So power to weight ratio, that's probably about as good as it gets. Must be pretty exciting to drive. I think he said it starts off at about 130 grand and you don't even get a windscreen.
Again with our LB Works version of kit, which is LB Works stands for Liberty Walk's own wide fenders. Again, very old school.
These fellas here.
Well, yeah, wide fenders, but as you can see with the bolts going through into the original bodywork.
Yes.
Again, very much like an old school Japanese way of styling. You imagine 40, 50 years ago, that's how they did it in Japan.
Yeah.
Kato, the owner of Liberty Walk, decided to implement it onto the supercars. First car was in SEMA on the Dub booth, Murcielago, and it kind of evolved from there.
Oh, so that was the pale blue coloured one, is that right?
That's right.
Yeah.
That was the first car with the LB Works range of wide fenders. So coming into the McLaren, again, full overhaul. It's had everything sort of changed on it.
What would you pay to have that conversion done on your McLaren then?
So this kit here includes a front bumper, rear bumper, all the side diffusers, rear diffusers, front diffusers. So it's almost changing most of the car. The kit itself is £26,000
right.
in an FRP version. And again, you can buy individual parts separately as well. So if you wanted to buy just the wing, you can buy just the wing. But the wide fenders, because they're signature to Liberty Walk and the LB Works range, are only a part of a full kit.
Right. So the 26,000, does that include the installation?
No,
or
it doesn't. It's just the kit, I'm afraid.
Yeah, so how much do you pay to have the full makeover done?
Well, each dealer kind of specifies their own sort of price on fitting and installation. We have no sort of set price.
Right.
Again, it just depends on what the customer wants, how the customer wants it finished. If he wants it painted or wrapped, or and any other finish that he so desires. But then again, it kind of specifies down to the wheels, what wheel brand they want to go for. But we advise all the specifications needed.
Yeah. So talk us a little bit about these wheels that we've got on this car here then.
So the wheels are again specifically made to the width of the car, made by a company in the UK called 3SDM. Again, 20 by 9 in the front, 20 by 12.5 or 13 on the rear.
So that's 13 inches wide at the back?
13 inches wide, yeah, correct.
Right.
And again with an extreme offset. Normally between -30 and -40. So the offsets and everything is to really match the width of the car.
Yeah.
This car is on a modified suspension as well from AirX.
Right, so that's interesting. So obviously the cosmetics of it is radically different.
Yep.
From a performance perspective, is there much changed under the hood?
Engine is mainly stock, again with an aftermarket exhaust system, again just to make it sound as good as it looks.
Yeah.
From a company again in Asia called FI Exhaust. But the car, mainly is the exterior.
Yeah, and it looks absolutely incredible.
Definitely.
It really does. Indeed, thank you very much for your time
thank you
today.
for
I
coming
really
by.
appreciate
Thank
that.
you.
Thanks. Bye. We're going to have to avoid these guys. They're obviously extremely important. They have 2 cameras. There's 3 of them. I think my age is double their combined age.